In the heart of 17th century Tuscany, a convent of Benedictine nuns became the scene of events that would defy convention and shake the foundations of faith. This is the story of Benedetta Carlini, an enigmatic figure whose life was marked by mystical visions and scandalous accusations. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel if you like these videos and leave a like. Now let's start. Female sexuality has been repressed, controlled, and often demonized for centuries. And when love between women made its way through silence and glances, society stifled it with even greater force. Now imagine living this love during one of the darkest periods in history, the time of the Inquisition. Benedetta Carlini was born in 1591 in Vellano, Tuscany. Her life was marked by tragedy from day one. Her mother died during childbirth, and her father, devastated, swore to consecrate her to God. At only 9 years old, she was sent to the convent of Santa Margherita in Pescia, where she would live her entire life. In the convent, Benedetta stood out from a young age. She was not only a devout girl, but also charismatic, intelligent, and gifted, and as she claimed, with a mystical connection with the divine. At 23, she began to tell of celestial visions and communications with Christ, attracting the attention and reverence of the other nuns. Soon, she was named Abbess. But what had earned Benedetta the admiration of her fellow nuns soon began to worry the ecclesiastical authorities. During her mystical ecstasies, Benedetta manifested stigmata. He spoke in unknown languages, entered a trance, and writhed in screams and convulsions. Some began to suspect demonic possession rather than a divine gift. She was then placed under constant surveillance. And this is where Sister Bartolomea, the nun in charge of assisting and monitoring her, comes in. But something unexpected arose between the two. An intimate, deep, and forbidden relationship. According to witnesses, Benedetta claimed to be possessed by a figure called Splenditello, an angelic spirit who temporarily took control of her body. In reality, according to Bartolomea's testimony, this spirit was a pretext used by Benedetta to seduce her and lie with her. The two women within the convent walls began to live a hidden lesbian relationship, which manifested itself at night in secret. Benedetta maintained that it was Christ himself who desired that union, and that their love was a form of sacred spiritual union. But the idyll could not last. Rumors began to circulate, and the Vatican ordered an official investigation. The first, conducted under Pope Paul V, surprisingly concluded in Benedetta's favor. Her visions were deemed authentic, and her reputation in the convent was strengthened. However, over time, tensions increased. Some nuns began to oppose her power, and a second, much more severe investigation was launched. During the interrogations, Bartolomea confessed everything: the intimate relationships, the night visits, the use of the name of Christ to justify sexual acts. The Church could tolerate neither alleged heresy nor homosexuality. Benedetta was immediately removed from her position as abbess, having been found guilty of false sanctity, blasphemy, and impure acts. She was locked up in solitary confinement in the convent itself, in a cell where she remained for 35 years. She died in 1661, alone, struck by fever and intestinal pain. There is no certain information about Bartolomea's fate. It is assumed that she died about a year before Benedetta, probably still inside the convent. The story of Benedetta Carlini would probably have fallen into oblivion if it had not been for the historian Judith C. Brown, who in 1986 published the book Impurus Acts, a fundamental work for the rediscovery of female sexuality in history. Brown reconstructs the minutes of the Inquisition, the testimonies of the nuns, and restores dignity to a story that remained buried for centuries. This incredible story was also brought to the big screen by Paul Verhoeven in the film Benedetta, 2021, starring Virginie Efira, a controversial work that mixes eroticism, faith, and madness, showing all the weight of a love condemned before it could even exist. Benedetta Carlini was a woman who lived in a world that did not allow any space for anything outside the patriarchal and clerical order. Her visions, true or not, were a way to express a personal and intense spirituality. Her love for another woman, though forbidden, was authentic and revolutionary in an era when female identity was crushed under the weight of religion. Today, her story is a powerful reminder. When faith is used to repress and not liberate, what you get is not salvation, but silence. Yet despite it all, Benedetta was never truly silenced. That's all for today. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time.